Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
What do we... Phantom!
The Phantom! Yeah.
Phantom of...
Phantom
song.
of Thopra.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. My name is David Bell,
My name is Tom Ryman.
and we just watched The Phantom of the Opera,
The Phantom of Theop.
2004.
Mm-hmm.
Phantom
Yeah.
Opera.
Not
You
the
know
not the Dario Argento.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera.
All right. It's, it's... What is it, Thursday?
It's Thursday, motherfucker. So
Yeah.
it's time for a We Just Watched classic.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing them on Mondays, too.
It's
But
it's
this,
been chaos for the past couple of weeks, but
It
we're
has.
returning to normalcy.
Yeah. Yeah, sure we are.
Mhm.
So, big shout out to the Ghost of Dave Thomas. They are the ones who didn't say watch Phantom of the Opera. Simply said watch something with Patrick Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of choices to make.
I thought Phantom was one of the suggestions, though.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But he, they said you can watch whatever.
Right.
These are a few that I think
Mhm.
might be fun. I gravitated towards Phantom of the Opera because I've never seen it.
And my immediate suggestion was Little Children, but we decided not to go with that one.
Yeah, we can circle back to that.
Yeah, we can go back to Little Children.
But yeah, the 2004 has P. Wilson in it.
P. Wills, Emmy Rossum.
It's directed by Joel Schumacher.
It sure
Didn't know
is.
that.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
I should know going into this. I didn't know anything about this story.
Yeah.
Not movie story.
I wanted to talk about that. You've never seen the musical. Had you ever heard any of the music before?
No. Isn't he supposed to be playing an organ?
I mean, he's playing. There's a lot of instruments in that.
Yeah, but all I knew about the Phantom of the Opera
like
was he wore a mask and he sat in front of an organ.
I mean-
and one of those two things doesn't happen in this.
That's the Lon Chaney version.
Got it. Well, that's all right. That's the other big shocker for me.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize this musical
Mhm.
is from like 1989,
86.
86.
Mhm.
That shocked me because it feels older, because it is older. But I always tied it to the musical as being also old. Like I thought it was always a musical. It seems like it was a book.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like a movie. Like, this is how not plugged into the Phantom of the Opera cinematic universe I am.
Mm-hmm. It's an entire media. It's a multimedia verse.
Yeah.
There's
I didn't
a
know-
book. There's like a bunch of movies. There's even another musical. There's a completely
Wow.
different and unrelated musical that was made in the 70s.
And it's not this.
No,
Wow.
it's not. There's nothing to do with this. I mean,
All
apart
right.
from it
That-
being the Phantom of the Opera.
Honestly, though, that explains my confusion. Like, I don't feel like I'm losing my mind. Because the first thing that happened was when the music started pumping in and it was like real 80s. It's like,
Oh yeah.
what the fuck is happening here?
No, the main theme is like it's like real like fucking oh gosh, Blue Monday. Who does that song?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Ah, shit. New
We'll
Order.
figure it out.
New Order.
New Order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes in like a New Order song.
Yeah, it really shocked me because I thought this was like an old musical being reimagined, and then the music was it's just ridiculously modern.
Yeah, it's very modern.
Yeah, so I don't know. That surprised me. I have a lot of questions about the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like why don't they, like I'm all for squatters' rights, but why didn't they just call the cops? They never really just called the cops.
There's a couple of moments where they don't. I think
like this guy's a jerk. He's a jerk.
Right. I think the idea is that, I mean, this is in like the 1880s.
Right.
In Paris. So I think enough people are convinced that he's an actual ghost.
Okay.
That they just don't want to fuck with it.
Yeah, these are the days where it's really easy to convince someone you're a ghost.
These are
apparently.
The thing you also have to keep in mind is these are the days when it's very easy to get away with any crime.
Yes. But like, come on.
Yeah.
He's just a guy in a mask.
That's all you fucking needed to be in 1880 to get away with some crimes.
I will say it does feel like it feels supernatural in the sense of I don't know how he's keeping that mask on. Is it sticking?
There's a couple.
Is he sweaty? Is it suction?
It looks like he has fake hair, like it's part of a wig.
I guess.
You notice,
but like when she takes it off of him.
When she takes it off of him in the third act, his hair changes color.
Yes, I know. In the first act, when she takes it off, and he's like, "I'm hideous."
Right, it's not like attached to his hair in that scene. Yeah,
no, it's just a fucking piece. It's like like the size of a dinner plate.
Listen, he's a theater kid. He's got lots of spirit gum.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. That shit's stuck on with spirit gum.
Oh yeah, of course it is. There's no other way to attach it to his head.
How do you like this movie, by the way?
I like this movie. Okay. I very much enjoy the stage musical.
Okay.
This version adds a couple of things and changes some stuff around.
Okay.
And the singing is not nearly as strong in the movie.
Got it. Well, Gerard Butler
is on the stage.
Who, by the way, is the Phantom of the Opera.
He sure as hell is.
I looked it up. He's doing his own singing.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
And he said he never took any lessons. Fun fact, he got this role because Joel Schumacher saw him in Dracula 2000.
Mm-hmm. Well, also...
And also... What?
Also, Andrew Lloyd Webber liked him.
Oh, okay. Well, he wasn't their first choice. It was going to go to Hugh Jackman, but he had to do Van Helsing. So it's just vampires are circling this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all kinds of vampire.
Which makes sense because he looks like a fucking vampire.
Of course he does. Yeah, he looks like a vampire in this movie.
Yeah. So, all right. You know the musical, because I was going to say I love Schumacher. I love his directing. I think this is a beautiful film. I was entertained by it. Musicals tend to, it's hard to pay attention.
I was wondering about that because this is, it's not totally, but it's mostly a sung-through musical.
Yeah.
There's maybe 10 lines of spoken dialogue.
Right. That never bothered me until the part where they're just like arguing about who got a letter, but they're singing, and it was like, guys, this doesn't need to be a song.
Oh, I like that. It's very Gilbert and Sullivan. Like, I like that bit.
Yeah.
It's like funny.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I don't like those bits in general in musicals where it's like they're just like sing talking, just like I don't know, just say your words. Just say them like a normal person, but whatever. That's a matter of taste.
Yeah. We can fight about that scene if you want to, or we can go on to the rest of the movie.
No, yeah, the scene's harmless. The movie's harmless. It's fine. I like the ending. I like the spoilers. I like the rose.
Yeah, see, that's
on
added.
The grave.
That's added.
Oh, I liked that.
I didn't mind the all of the interstitial stuff, with the exception of the very beginning with old as fuck Patrick Wilson.
Yeah.
And somehow less old Miranda Richardson, even though I think she's either the same age or slightly older than Patrick Wilson. So for some reason, they're both at this auction house 30 years later, and he's aged like a president, and she's fine. But like that scene's from the play. Like that's at the play. That's how the stage production starts. But like the other interstitial stuff where he's like riding in his carriage in the cemetery, that's all stuff that Schumacher.
I like the transition with the chandelier. That was cool. Mm-hmm. I like the look of this movie. It's beautiful. I would say the overall lore felt silly. That was the thing. And maybe this is because, like, for example, I'm going to have one criticism that I have a feeling the musical was better at. And the criticism is he doesn't look that bad without the mask. He looks fine. You could just like cover that up with makeup.
Yeah. I mean, this is 1888, but
yeah, the part where she takes off his mask in the third act, like the back row gasps of that theater, and it's like you couldn't even see his face would look like slightly red.
That's the comment.
Like,
that's the comment I was going to make. I've seen the stage production 2 or 3 times. I've always been too far away to see his face when they unmask it, so I really couldn't tell you what he actually looks like in the stage production.
I googled it, and there's varying degrees. Like they've done some where he looks like a fucking like a zombie practically. But this one, it was just like, oh, you're just a little burnt.
Well, I think that's part of it. You have to keep in mind what time it takes place in.
Right.
So like I think it's up to the director, honestly. Whoever's directing the production is going to decide how severe to make his deformity, because either thing makes sense for the theme of the story.
I would argue that he looks like a burn victim. He looks like he got burned.
He looks like he got burned, yeah.
And I would argue that the time, like, there's always been people with physical deformities.
Mm-hmm.
And his isn't that bad, and it feels like if I saw that guy on the street, I'd be like, in that time era, I would be like, oh, he like fought in a war or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like
but
what affects him, like, clearly I mean, they explain it because there's apparently the weirdest circus ever that's just like paid to watch this man beat a boy.
That's not the weird. That's not the weirdest circus, man. That's just you've seen Pinocchio, right, with Stromboli.
Yeah,
that's just the fucking circus.
That's just the circus,
especially in the 19th century in Paris.
It's literally like this: people throw down money, and this guy beats a child.
Yeah, and
everybody leaves,
and they throw stuff.
It was like,
it's a freak show. Like that's what. Like you got to. It's not just
maybe this is Schumacher.
Mm-hmm.
But like the way they present that scene, they don't really like gasp at him or anything.
They do a little bit. It's mostly
beating him, and then everybody leaves. That's it.
It's mostly just laughing at him and throwing shit at him, which that was a pastime in that time. Yeah. Like, no, not I guess it was. So it's not a question of you'd be walking down the street and see him as an adult and assume that he'd been hurt in some accident. If you go to if you pay like a farthing or whatever, to go to a freak show in the 19th century, and you go up to this cage and it's like the devil boy was born a monster, and it's like he'll be varying degrees of deformed, but like you're being encouraged to like ridicule. Like that's the point.
Oh, for sure. I know. I understand
of the exhibit.
I understand that. I'm saying that seems to shape his character way more than I don't know. Like it seeing him as an adult with just the slightly red face.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I'm not sure what the moral is in terms of his deformity in this movie. It was just like when I saw it, my initial reaction was like, oh, he didn't look that bad at all. He looks fine.
Like I was saying,
half of his face looks like a movie star.
Yeah, half of his face looks like Gerard Butler. No, what I was saying earlier, it's I'm pretty sure it's up to the director, because as you're saying, there seems to be like varying degrees of how jacked up his face is. Because the theme is basically because either would make sense for the story, because it's either he's like very just slightly or he has a little bit of a deformity in his face, or it's like extreme. Either way, the response and treatment, the response to him and the treatment of him is extreme. So he internalizes that, and that's in the very last song. I think that's what Christine says, something like, it's not your face that I'm scared of. It's like what it's done to your soul.
Right. Because he's a dick. That's the other thing. Yeah. He's just a dick.
Yeah.
He's a terrorist. He's leaving notes and being like, I'm going to fucking hang people if you don't play my songs or whatever, or do the shit I want. And it's like, dude, get out of our basement. Get out of our giant basement. How'd you get a horse down here in the sewer? What's that horse doing down there?
He has a lot going. He's a gondola.
Yeah.
Who made that for you?
He has Temple of Doom booby traps down there. I don't know what the fuck's going on in that basement. It's real weird.
Yeah, it's pretty odd.
It's that stuff where it's like, it's just kind of, it's silly. It's a silly story. And I don't know if it's because, I don't think it's because of the actual story so much as like the depiction of it. And some of the visuals. Again, like, I get the idea of a circus that puts people with deformities on display for exploitation. I know that happens all the time. I just think it was very funny that scene is played out of he just starts beating the kid and everybody laughs.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't really have, like, a scene where he's, like, you know, just, like, unmasked in front of everybody. Everybody gaffs and laughs and he's standing there. They kind of just do it weird. And there, I don't know. It's like, it's, again, I enjoyed the movie. It just has these little funny moments.
Yeah, he's got a whole ass bat cave down there.
Yeah. There's a lot of, yeah. And that fucking sewer horse, man.
Yeah.
It's just, it's cheesy. It's a cheesy movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's, you know, it's operatic. It's
yes.
You know, it's a very simple story in its basic elements.
Yeah.
You know, it's
it's
the kind of thing you make a fucking stage musical out of.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun for that reason. Like, it's over the top. Man, Patrick Wilson with long hair.
That I wanted.
He looks like
I wanted to text you a screenshot of that. His introduction of the film was when he's standing up on the back of the carriage driving two horses.
Yeah. I gasped
with his improbable wig blowing in the wind.
Yeah. He looks like a fucking freshman in that long hair.
He looks incredible.
Baby face. Yeah. He looks like, I don't know. He man. Long hair doesn't suit him.
No, he looks very silly.
He looks like a Disney villain with long hair.
Yeah. It's and the first time I saw this movie, I didn't really know him from anything. Like, I think he'd been in he'd been in like the Alamo before this, and I hadn't seen that shit. Huh. So it's like I wasn't used to seeing him in any other way, but like, rewatching it now, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's going on with that hair?
I gotta say, also, Gerard Butler, even knowing it was him, didn't recognize him. And I think it's because when he's not stubbly, he just looks like a different person. He's also younger in this, but like later, I was like, all right, there he is. But like, when I first saw his character, I was like, man, I can't fucking believe that's him.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with youth, too. Like, if you go back,
and singing, honestly, because he's not a man I imagine singing.
That's true. Yeah, that immediately colors your perception of him.
Yeah,
but yeah, like if you watch him in Dracula 2000, like you can tell it's him, but he really doesn't look anything like he looks now.
Oh yeah. He Do we need to explain this plot, by the way?
Maybe. I don't know how familiar people are with the family.
I don't know. I wasn't at all.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about this dude who's fucking squatting at this opera house. He taught a woman to sing there.
Mm-hmm. He's been visiting her secretly since she's been a child. She was essentially raised there by one of the dance instructors.
Right, pretending to be a ghost.
Pretending to be her father's ghost or an angel sent by her dead father.
Yeah. This is the silliness, because later she visits the graveyard and he pulls that shit again, and Patrick Wilson has to be like, it's not a ghost. Get away from him. And it's just very funny because he's so obviously not a ghost.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I know. Again, it's the idea is people are somehow tricked by it.
Well, and it's also
very funny.
Yeah, it's also a simplification of because it's a stage musical. They
right.
have to, by virtue of the format, they have to just say what it is they're experiencing, or like sing it rather, because there's not, you don't really act in a musical.
Yeah, but like this is a movie. They could like, because she refers to him as a magician, and it was like if there was more like smoke and mirrors, that maybe that would help. I like that he can project, and he uses that to be like when he shows up for the first time, it's like whoa shit. Because he's like a booming voice.
Yeah, from like,
so they do
don't know where he's
coming
from. Yeah, there's more of, he does a couple of tricks like swapping out
the
spray for Minnie Driver, and
who's killing it? Minnie Driver's killing
she's
it.
Fucking great.
That scene is hilarious again though, because he shows up on the like balcony and he's just like, you didn't do the things I asked. And she says something to him and like calls him a toad, and he just goes like, "No, you're a toad."
Oh,
and then he leaves.
She's not talking to him.
Oh, okay. He just. Oh, yeah, you're right.
She's talking to Christine.
She calls Christine a toad, and then he's just like, "You're a toad," and then he walks away, and it was just like really weird and anticlimactic. And then he swaps the voice thing, and then. It's I don't know. He's just, again, he's such a fucking weird disruption, because then. That seems like that's the matter settled, and then he hangs that guy, and it's like, Jesus, man, like that really escalated.
Now he wants them to take him seriously.
Yeah, he's just like, he's I don't know, he's a weirdo.
Yeah, someone
needs to call the cops.
Yeah, he's a creeper.
On this
like
ghost.
he's a fucking incel, basically.
Right? Yeah, because we haven't got to. He ghost trained her to sing, and then is just like, so you're gonna marry me now?
Right.
I have a mannequin here with a wedding dress. Big red flag. Big red flag.
No,
ladies. If they have a mannequin with a wedding dress, you get out of there.
Yeah, you run. You run.
Yeah, you get out of their dungeon. Also, if they have a dungeon.
Yeah, if he lives in a vast interconnected system of passageways and moats, with just an absurd amount of candles. Yeah,
right. If he has a bat cave,
he has a bat cave.
You get out of there.
Yeah, he's been literally gaslighting her entire life.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, it's funny only because he's so obviously just a weird creep.
Right, but the point I was going to make about Christine in the cemetery, and then just kind of her behavior throughout the movie, is you got to understand she's been talking to him, who until like a couple of weeks ago was nothing but a disembodied voice she heard.
Right.
For her entire life, since she was a small child, orphaned by the sudden death of her parents. So it's like she has a very, very strong connection to him that he keeps exploiting throughout the movie.
Again, real creep.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
Yeah. He's literally just this maniac walking around this opera house, hanging people and causing disruptions and demanding money.
Yeah.
He has an allowance. He's just like, give me money.
Yeah.
And I
Dave,
won't hang people in your opera.
I was going to say, and Dave, what happened when they didn't give him his money?
Yeah, he hung a dude. Did that stagehand do anything wrong?
No.
Okay, I was wondering, because I was like, he's the first murder, because it's very funny because it seems like mischief at first, where it's like smoke and mirrors. Ooh, I'm a ghost, and then he hangs a guy, and it was like, oh shit. And he just crosses the line to murder. And again, after doing that like voice prank, like the voice prank is like something the Little Rascals would do. And then he fucking hangs a guy like 5 minutes later. It's just it's very, very shocking.
Yeah, it's yeah.
He's a real maniac.
Yeah. He is a terrorist living in the basement of this opera house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right in his own fucking opera.
Yeah, they do the like troubled genius stuff. But that doesn't really I don't know.
Well, it informs he's a musical genius, which is how he's able to actually help train Christine how to sing and then also write his own music. Right. He's some sort of like she calls him a magician. He clearly knows how to like make shit like that. So he has like some kind of inclination there. And he built himself a fucking bat cave. Like,
yeah.
He's a sharp
Ultimately,
dude.
though, it is the story of a scumbag musician gaslighting a woman while staying at her place. Like, that's more or less what's happening, right?
Sort of, yeah.
He's just, like, kind of crashing at this place,
mm-hmm.
being a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very elaborate version of that story.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just a very weird story. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so. I let me tell you a few expectations I had.
Okay.
I thought there was some horrible accident that happened at the opera, which was why he was there. Like, he worked at the opera, and everybody thought he died. And instead, he was horribly disfigured from the accident. That's what I more or less thought, is that, like, he was like, people treated him like a ghost, and it was more smoke and mirrors, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like going to fall in love with somebody. I thought he was going to be a way more sympathetic character.
He still is, but it's like they don't. I appreciate.
But he's a villain,
right? I appreciate that they don't do like a stupid. I don't know, like what the inclination seems to be in recent movies and TV. Some of it anyway, which is to like kind of buy a lot of it back.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. Is that he does have at the end he's at the end he tries to hang Patrick Wilson and is like, confess your love to me or I'll hang him. And there's something very funny about a man singing while getting hung.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But he doesn't hang her. She's like, all right, I'll do it. And then he sort of has a moment of self-awareness and he's like, all right, get out of here. And so he does get a redemption, only in the sense that he doesn't do something bad.
Yeah.
And I do think I'm sure other people have other opinions about this. I do think ultimately they didn't try to make me feel bad for him. His childhood is tragic,
mm-hmm.
but he's a dick, and the movie seems to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they did a good job at that, as making him like a complex character, but also not someone that's like we need to sympathize with. That we need to be like, oh, this poor man, because like you said, he's been gaslighting a woman
mm-hmm.
since she was a little girl, so he's like a real fucking creep.
Well, he was also a child.
Was he though?
He's basic. Yeah. When we see Madame Geary as a young girl sneak him into the sewers beneath the opera house, he is a child.
Right, but he's still slightly older than Christine.
That's true.
Isn't he?
Yeah, that's true. So he's probably like when she's like a child, he's probably like 18. That's true. Yeah, he's probably. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. Yep.
No, he's a fucking creep.
Yeah,
he's a real Indiana Jones type. Yeah, like it's not. Again, it's not romantic. And again, but I don't think the movie doesn't try to make it seem like it is. At no point, like, she seemed like I don't know. What do you think? I never felt like the movie was trying to apologize for him.
No, it's not. But it does try to convey a little bit of a sympathy. The movie's never on his side, and I don't think the story ever is either. It's just
trying to explain him.
Yeah, so you do end up like the ending does end up being, you know, it's happy for Christine and Raoul, who is Patrick Wilson, but you know, it's tragic for the Phantom, and I think you do experience a little of that. Like you are like, oh, that's kind of sad for like just by virtue of, yeah, he had a horrible childhood. He's been living alone in a sewer for decades.
It's funny,
and he
yeah.
just like he doesn't know how. I mean, yeah, he's gaslighting her and manipulating her, but he also doesn't know how to form relationships or interact with people.
Well, honestly, it's amazing he can like be as social as he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing he can be social enough to be a sociopath.
Yeah, you'd think he'd just be feral.
Yes, but like, yeah, it's weird that he's not.
No, yeah, he's annoying, but like he doesn't understand social cues.
No.
Shows up at that masquerade ball. Also, there's a hall of mirrors under the lobby. Not sure what that's about.
I don't know.
Someone needs to figure out that building.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that need to happen. Like in terms of like the structure of that building alone. And just like, calling the cops on this guy.
Yeah.
And like people being like, okay, so that's not what a ghost is. Check. Got it. Somebody write this down.
All right. Yeah.
So we don't get fooled
like,
again.
It's not the 1980s. Like a lot of the shit he gets away with is just people like, oh, it's like, well, shouldn't we go down there and see what's going on there? It's like, I'm not going down there. There's a ghost down there.
Right.
Whereas, like in like 1988, they'd be like, no, this is some fucking dude who's squatting in the basement.
Yeah.
Starting fires.
Yeah. Being a real dickhead.
Yeah.
I think even if you knew it was a dude, it's still kind of like, I'm not going down there. There's like a dude with half a mask and a cape. I'm not going near that guy.
He's got a whole ass bat cave. I don't know what he's doing down there.
What is he training for?
There's a hall of mirrors right beneath the stage. I'm not going any further.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he's building back there.
Yeah, no, they do.
Turns out a gondola and a mannequin for a wedding dress.
Yeah.
That's what he was building.
Is that? Yeah, he's got he's got like a clam ship bed. Like, what is he sleeping in? That looked awesome.
That bed.
Yeah, that bed was fucking... Where did he get all that shit down there? Was it already there?
No.
Is this like the Goonies where it's like... this is like some weird like temple lair that they built on top of and didn't know?
I mean, no. The obvious answer is he stole it all and brought it down there, but I mean, we're having fun.
But but wait, I don't know. That's not the obvious answer at all.
Is it not? You're saying the obvious answer, it was all there as some sort of temple and they built the Paris Opera House around it?
He has a horse down there. So you're telling me he's going out and he's somehow sneaking a horse and like furniture and all that stuff?
The only other...
A gondola down into this weird lair?
The only other possibility
he's been doing that.
Is that he's ordering it and having it sent to the opera house and then he just gets it. But like...
He is making money?
Yeah, he gets a salary from the opera house managers. Like the two guys who take it over in the beginning, who are the bad guy from Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls and Ciarán Hinds.
Yes, that is who that is.
They're the first people in we don't know how long who have decided not to pay his salary. So he's been getting paid like something like 20,000 francs a month, I think. So he could be buying that shit. Just having somebody go buy it for him, maybe, or I don't know.
All right, hold on. How does he say he wants to be paid? Does he say? Are they paying him in cash?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, they better be, right?
I don't think there's too many other methods of payment in 19th century Paris.
All right, so they're not giving him a check. He's just down there with piles of cash.
Yeah, probably.
And he just goes out during the day and like
probably not.
Does stuff?
Probably not. I mean, there's got to be some kind of go between. Well, I don't know, because he goes out and hijacks Christine's carriage.
Yeah.
So maybe he does go out and buy shit, but people would notice. So I don't know. Maybe that's the reason for the gondola, is so he can ride his gondola to different.
Right, and then come out of the sewer.
Someplace else.
I assume he's buying stuff.
Why
does he need money? Why does he need money if he's not buying stuff?
That must be it.
Food.
Yeah.
He needs to eat.
Yeah, and all that
he's not shilling everything.
The shit he's got down there. Like, he's got big ornate mirrors, all kinds of beds, an organ. Like, he couldn't. You can't. That's not smash and grab stuff. That stuff would be difficult to steal. Now that I think about it.
This is what's so. That's what I mean. Is like, and if it's just him, it would make more sense for him to buy it. But he'd also still, like you said, need people to deliver the stuff. So that means there's like people coming in and out.
He probably gets it at a different place and then sails his gondola to his actual lair.
And then gondolas that shit around? Like he has to gondola a bunch of stuff?
Listen, man,
whatever he's
tough
doing,
being the opera ghost.
But all right. So, all right. either way, I think what I was circling here, because they say something where it's like he's a genius and that genius turned into madness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually a weird part of this, is that I don't think it would be one thing if it was like, yeah, he's been trapped in the walls and he's only known this woman. But I don't think that's what's happening. I think he interacts with society and is just a dickhead gaslighting this lady since she was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think he does go out.
He might?
He might socialize. I don't know. He seems really well spoken. He seems like he might have went to school, or something. Like it just seemed it, and he has a bunch of nice furniture. He's doing well. He's making a lot of money. Like, I don't know. I'd have more sympathies for him if he was like,
he's basically, yeah, he's making protection money.
Yeah,
he's like a
I'd
fucking
have way more
gangster living down there.
Yeah, and I do think he must go out, or he must get food. He must interact with society. He knows how to drive a carriage.
Yeah,
so,
that's true. He does.
I don't know, man. I think he's just a real dickhead. I don't think the movies try to make him too much less, but like the childhood stuff, I don't know. It doesn't excuse. It doesn't, like, he's not like he seems perfectly fine except for the way he treats Christina and his weird obsession.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think part of that is, I mean, obviously this is like, it's over the top, and it's like, it's a bombastic, larger than life story. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, you when you scrutinize the space in between the details they give us, it's not going to make a lot of sense.
Sure, that's fair.
I think he's like well spoken and shit because he's the lead in a musical.
Yeah.
They couldn't have a dude out there snarling.
You're saying it's musical rules where, like, it's an interpretation. He's supposed to be a sort of monstrous person. We're supposed to, when he shows up in a cape and a mask,
like, the idea,
we need to believe that people think they're seeing some sort of phantom.
Sure, and the idea again is that he's well, actually, yeah. So yeah, maybe not, because the idea is that he's a monster on the inside.
Yeah,
it's not the physical deformity that is what makes him a monster. So yeah, I actually don't know if I even stand by the argument I just made. I think maybe it's just because he is explicitly supposed to be a genius. So
I think this is a very tricky story. Because I get what you're saying is, like, the same way we are supposed to believe that people just sing in this world, which is really weird because there's like scenes where people are actually singing, like they're supposed to be singing.
Yeah, there's a
reality
show within a show element to it. Yeah,
yeah, and then they're also just singing. Like, there's her first song, Patrick Wilson starts singing, and I was like, dude, shut up,
just quiet.
You're interrupting her thing,
Christine.
Yeah,
like she's fucking singing. Shut up.
Yeah. Cut your hair, Patrick.
Take that wig off.
But yeah, it was like, I understand that there's like heightened reality like that, but what the movie is presenting to me in terms of who this guy is he just seems like a guy with, like, got the kind of fucked up skin on his face, who had a bad childhood, but then in turn, like, gaslit this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And seems to be, like, again, doing okay otherwise. So it's like, I can't, I'm not really, it's, again, it's not trying to make me sympathize with him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes me wonder what the point of the childhood and stuff is, when he is just, like, such a prick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the point is that he internalized all of it and just clung to that rather than try to, it's supposed to be tragic.
Yeah,
like
it's a reverse Hunchback, right?
Yes,
where it's like, oh, he looks ugly, but he's really pretty on the inside. This one's like, he looks ugly, and yeah, he's ugly on the inside too. They could be,
yeah.
You can be dicks. Anybody can be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Otherwise, I mean, I really liked it. You're a fan of the musical and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
You seem to actually, yeah, I get it. I do get it. I think the songs are pretty rad.
Yeah, they're good, it's one of the things that fucking astounded me about Cats.
Yeah, the songs are bad.
The music is not good, and
except for the one song.
Right, Memory.
Yeah.
But like the rest of the music is like it's like meandering and nonsensical, and Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote that music a couple of years before this.
I imagine drugs.
I mean, you can feel the cocaine.
Yeah, in Cats.
in both productions, honestly.
In both, yeah, you're right.
Cats feels more like mescaline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cats is a lot of things. Like, we don't have to get into Cats, but my God.
Cats, but it's just like, it's just a couple of years difference. Like, Cats was, I think, 82 or 81. It was in the beginning of the 80s, and then, like, this was next. And it's like, these actually have, like, discernible structure and hooks and stuff, and, like, all the music in Cats is just fucking rambling.
Yeah, how many musicals did he write?
Gosh, I think more than 20, I want to say.
Okay, would you say, am I correct in saying that Andrew Lloyd Webber is the Stephen King of musicals? Like, he sort of blasts them out. Sometimes it's like, well, that wasn't great. Sometimes it's really good.
Yeah, I think that's accurate, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on who's adapting it, too. Like, that's a factor.
Yeah.
It just feels very similar, where it's like, it's really a roll of the dice. Like Stephen King, you open a Stephen King book, sometimes you're like, wow.
I think
okay, that sucked.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're two different mediums. One takes a lot more work. I think writing a bunch of music takes more work than writing a novel.
I mean, more like, yeah, it's more like they feel like both take very big swings.
Yeah, no, I all I was going to say related to that is Stephen King has more hits.
Yeah.
But that's just because he's written like a fucking 100 books. Andrew Lloyd Webber's done like a couple dozen, and he had like 3 or 4 major hits in the 80s. So now he's the fucking king of all of it, basically.
Yeah. But they do feel they're similar in that, like, the big swings also result in something that I absolutely always want to watch. Like, when Stephen King movies are bad, I still want to watch them because they're spectacularly bad.
Yeah, like Cats.
Like Cats.
I can't even describe Cats to other people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, just Cats is like, it's like a Lovecraftian novel where, like, it's describing stuff of, like, visual feelings and, like, people losing their minds looking into the void. Like, that's Cats. Is like, you have to just sort of sit down with it and watch it, and even then you're not sure that you know what you just saw.
I will also I should point out, I don't know if this is always the case. I am not that. I only really know.
Sure.
For Andrew Lloyd Webber, I only really know the big ones: Cats, this movie, or this Cats, Phantom, Les Miserables.
Right.
So I don't know if this is the case for all of his stuff, but he did not write the lyrics for Phantom or Cats.
Oh.
He writes the music. I think that's primarily his thing.
Okay.
So that's another big difference between Cats and this one.
You know who would have done a great adaptation of Cats? Joel Schumacher.
Probably.
Can you fucking imagine that Batman and Robin sensibility applied to Cats?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been so fucking fun. Not good, but fun.
Yeah. It would have been it would have been like Joel Schumacher schlock, and he makes great schlock.
He makes great schlock, and I think that's what this movie is kind of all about. Like, it is good. The people are doing a good job, but it definitely has that Schumacher schlock touch to it. Just a pinch, and that's not a bad thing. Like, I enjoy watching Batman and Robin. That's not a movie that bums me out to watch.
Yeah, this felt closer to. I mean, there's certainly elements of Batman and Robin.
Yeah, it's nowhere close to Batman. I should make that clear. This is like a real movie.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, I think musicals benefit from that sometimes. Like, it doesn't, a
lot of movies do. The comparison I was going to make is this seems more on the same kind of schlock level as like The Lost Boys.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's over the top and operatic, but it's also you can take it seriously on its own.
I read that Lost Boys is what got him attached to this as well.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This is if you like musicals, you definitely got to watch this. It didn't feel very 2004, by the way.
I forget it's that old.
I was about to say it feels like it could have been made at any point.
Right.
Like it feels like it could have been made in 1995 or 2015.
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of, I'm long way of saying it looks timeless, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of digital effects in it.
Yeah, and the style in which it's filmed also doesn't feel
right. It doesn't
of a certain time.
Yeah, and it doesn't because of the nature of the story and the fact that it's based on a big stage production. Like it doesn't necessarily it doesn't need to look like real life.
No, not at all. Yeah,
and that this movie does not. But like the scene where Phantom is driving her down through the sewer on his gondola, and the candelabras are held by actual living arms.
Right.
Sort of like, shit. Who's the famous French filmmaker that made that fucked up version of Beauty and the Beast in black and white?
I honestly don't know. I didn't know. I'm not aware of the fucked up version of Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, man. I bet Abe knows. Abe or Cancer.
Probably.
Anyway, it's like, like the Enchanted Castle elements of that movie for people who know what film I'm talking about. Like that's
I know the aesthetic you're talking about too. Yeah, which that is weird. That implies magic that doesn't actually exist in the story.
That's one last thing I wanted to point out. One of the big changes between the stage version and this movie is the Phantom is kind of magical in the stage version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they don't explain how he does a couple of things. Like they don't explain in the stage version, they don't explain how he fucks up Carlotta's voice. He just says he just says that line, "We'll see who's the toad" or something, and then she starts croaking. It's like because you don't in the stage version, you don't see him during that scene. You just hear his voice booming from somewhere. Like,
I think we could have used more of that in this.
Yeah, and like in the scene where he and Patrick Wilson have a sword fight in the cemetery, he's just fucking throwing fireballs at Patrick Wilson in the stage version. Like he might actually be
Patrick
magic
Wilson in the stage version.
Yeah,
yeah. No, that makes it more. It makes more sense because in this one he's just a dick.
Yeah,
he's just a dude.
He's a dude with a couple of like he knows some close up magic.
Yes.
Like
again, creep.
Yeah,
he's
fucking creep.
Yeah, every part of him.
Yeah.
When they're like, when she's describing like he's a magician and a genius and a musician, and it's like, oof.
Those are terrible. That's a terrible combination.
Yeah, I'm picturing a very specific type of person right now, and they're not someone you want to hang out with.
I'm picturing a very specific dude wearing a very specific hat.
Yep, with Patrick Wilson's haircut.
He doesn't not have that hair, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, any final thoughts?
Not really. I think, this.
Yeah.
I do like this movie.
I do too. I think it's a good movie. It's not just that I like the movie. I think it's a good movie, but I honestly, I'm not a good judge of musicals. Well, I don't know what a good and bad musical needs.
It's definitely well made. The only criticism I'll really level at it in terms of being a musical is, like I said at the top, There's not a lot of strong singers in this cast.
No.
Honestly, Patrick Wilson might be the strongest singer that's in of the three leads, although Emmy Rossum's voice is pretty good.
Yeah. It's weird that you just get Gerard Butler and you say, all right, you're the Phantom. Can you sing? And they're like, well, try. And it's like, okay, because it's pretty important that you can sing. Anyway, let's make this thing. And it's like, Jesus.
He's sung in like rock bands. So
yes,
he's got that kind of voice. But yeah, it is wild that they grabbed him or like, all right, we want you. He's like, I'm not a singer really. It's like, that's fine. We'll figure it out.
It's weird that musicals don't start with who can sing.
You would think, that would be the case, particularly for Phantom, which is such an iconic musical that it is well loved by lots and lots of music theater fans. And I remember when this movie came out, there was a decent amount of pushback against Gerard Butler because it's like, you're casting a guy who's not a singer to play the Phantom, which is like a very difficult part to sing.
Right, and he's not fucking Tom Cruise, It's not like, oh, we need him for his name. Mm-hmm. Fucking Geostorm over here.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't need to, like, especially at the time, like he wasn't famous.
No.
So it's like, it's weird that they would cast him. Like, if they're going to cast someone who's relatively not well known, go with someone who can sing. Like, I guess Hugh Jackman, which is why they went with him first. Also, Anne Hathaway was supposed to be Christine.
That checks out. I mean, they both got them both in Les Miserables, so
they sure did. Yeah, that's interesting that they clearly were like, we'll circle back, get you in an Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I do think Gerard Butler sings better than Russell Crowe.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Get Russell Crowe in that movie.
Jesus Christ, man. Gerard Butler's fine in this. Everybody, I don't know. I don't know what good singing is, so I was fine with it. I know what bad singing is, but like this wasn't.
Nobody's bad. Like the only it'll be stuff like he doesn't sustain the notes that the Phantom normally sustains, like things like that, where it's like, oh, okay, you're clearly working around the fact that he's not a particularly strong singer.
Right, which is bad when they're like, he's a musical genius.
Right, like, well, you can be a musical genius and not be able to sing that well.
Then you have him jam on an organ.
That's right. Get him a fucking guitar.
Yeah.
Have him be wailing on some shit.
I would have killed my family for a guitar in this.
Show up in that masquerade scene dressed like Red Death, and he's just fucking playing Rio on a guitar.
Oh my God! Yes,
her name is Rio. Just like
that would be amazing.
The head bop as he's coming
out. Oh God, give it to
me! I
me.
really want that version of the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
He's just really, really into new wave music.
Yeah.
Which doesn't exist yet, but he's really into it.
Yeah, he's inventing it. That's why he's a genius. Final question.
Mm-hmm.
Since this was chosen as a Patrick Wilson film, what's your Patrick Wilson score on this?
Oh man,
where's this rank in your Patrick Wilson film?
What's our scale? What's our rating metric?
All right. I guess like King's a King. Let's rank it.
Mm-hmm.
Like where does this stand? On our Patrick Wilson films list, or like should we keep or delete it? Something from Small Beans. One of their rating systems.
I don't like any of these impulses.
Okay, well, how do you want to rate this?
I don't know. It's hard to say keep or delete because it's like, what? And then it's like, it's hard to rank it against other Patrick Wilson movies because I don't believe we discussed any other ones.
I know.
And there's a lot of them.
That's the bit.
Okay.
Look, we're doing our one episode podcast
about Patrick Wilson.
Wilson cast.
It's the
Kings of Wilson. How would you rank it?
Patrons of Patrick. Clearly it's the greatest Patrick Wilson film we've discussed.
Yes. Well, is it? Have we discussed another? I feel like we've done other Patrick Wilson films. I don't know. I've gone on record saying that I would die for Patrick Wilson, and I stand by that. I love Patrick Wilson. Whenever he shows up in a movie, I'm
great.
I'm always delighted. I hope he's a nice guy. I know nothing about him. He's like he is the generic white guy, but like somehow manages to just, I don't know. I love him in everything.
Yeah, he's great.
I love his weird little confused face when he's hunting ghosts.
Yeah.
You know,
when he's
or in some tall grass.
Yeah. Fucking tall grass.
Yeah.
Remember watching that movie? He showed up like, oh, now we got a movie.
Yeah, okay. This movie is suddenly worth watching because Patrick Wilson's here.
I am invested now.
And he has a mustache.
He sure does.
Yeah. Incredible.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so this is the greatest Patrick Wilson film we've discussed.
All right. Sounds good. All right. I guess we can leave it there. Big thanks to Ghost of Dave Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for picking up on our love of Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, whatever opera house you're haunting, may they continue to pay your salary on time.
Yeah.
So you don't have to hang any motherfuckers.
Yeah, so you don't have to hang some poor stagehand.
So you don't have to drop a chandelier on some bitches.
This was done through our Patreon, and that's patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, along with being able to do custom We Just Watched episodes. We also have exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We watch movies every Friday night with our patrons. I'm going to probably insist on something with Patrick Wilson in the future because now that I got a taste, you know?
Yeah, now that we've wet our beaks.
Yeah.
I mean, should we just watch fucking Aquaman?
Sure.
Let's just do that.
Yeah.
No one can stop us.
No one can stop us from anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're unstoppable.
We also have a store, tpublic.com/store/game-for-the-unemployed, where you can get t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of stuff. So check that out.
Check it out. We command it.
I mean, we should maybe make a t-shirt that's just a drawing of Patrick Wilson from this film, so with that hair. And
that would be awesome.
And then just like a line beneath it that says like he's a magician or something like that.
I could see that.
Or like, but genius has become madness or something.
God, do you think there's someone with that as a tattoo?
With Patrick Wilson's face or that phrase?
Just that phrase, but also Patrick Wilson's face.
That phrase, almost certainly. Particularly if it's if it is a line taken from the stage production, because that show has a lot of fans. I hope Patrick Wilson's face is tattooed on someone's body. Possibly even Patrick Wilson's.
Yeah, if someone gives me money, I'll get it tattooed. I'll get his face tattooed on me.
We can make that a tier if you want.
Yeah, just get Patrick Wilson's face tattooed on him. Not big, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like maybe like shoot, I don't know, like the size of like a like a couple quarters or something. $. Yeah, right on my balls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, right in the small of my back.
Yeah.
Patrick Wilson tramp stamp.
Oh, perfect.
Yep. A butterfly, but with Patrick Wilson's head.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yep. On my back.
That's beautiful. On your back, on your lower back.
Like it's 2001 all over again.